now watching Music the Lifeblood's Final Thursday.
Hey guys, this is Dustin from Music the Lifeblood. Welcome to Vinyl Thursday. A little bit different kind of an episode, this one. It's an interview episode. Haven't done one of these in a little while. It's been a minute. But I had the opportunity to talk with Davey Bales. He's the singer of the Wraith from Los Angeles, which, by the way, I did an episode of Vinyl Thursday not too long ago focusing on the Wraith's first album, Gloom Ballet. So make sure you go check out that episode and then definitely check out the album. That thing is an absolute monster. Just killer album from these guys. Now, before we get to the interview, don't forget, Music the Lifeblood does what we call the value exchange. You get all of this free Music the Lifeblood content, and then you exchange with us whatever kind of value you put on that content to give back, so to speak, I guess, whatever you want to call it. That's the value exchange. You got a couple different options. If you want to do the monetary route, you can do PayPal. I enjoyed this episode, thought it was a killer interview. I love Vinyl Thursday. Bam, $5-10 to the PayPal at musicthelifeblood@gmail. Or you can do reoccurring installments at the Music the Lifeblood Patreon. Just search Music the Lifeblood Patreon. You'll find it really quickly. And then don't forget, there's the T-Chip store. Lots of cheap shirts, mugs, phone cases. There's a bunch of stuff on there. And it's cheap. It's good stuff. So you can look nice being a part of the MTLB Ultra Mega Militia. And then if you don't have the monetary option, because let's face it, shit is rough right now, you can always share anything Music the Lifeblood on social media, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr even. Tell all your friends about Music the Lifeblood. That's how you do the MTLB Ultra Mega Value Exchange. And when you do engage in the MTLB Ultra Mega Value Exchange, that automatically makes you a proverbial card-carrying member of the MTLB Ultra Mega Militia. Everything is ultra mega when it comes to Music the Lifeblood. It's a bunch of tongue twisters. But now that that's out of the way, let's hear from Davey. We're joined with Mr. Davey Bales from the Wraith. Davey, thanks for being on the show, man.
What's up, man? Hell yeah, thank you.
So I got a lot of stuff I want to ask you about. The first thing, since it's Vinyl Thursday, we talk about music all the time. I was just curious, what are you listening to right now?
I'm listening to a lot of newer synth and post-punk bands that have come out this year in the last 2 or 3 years. I'm listening to a lot of post-punk, some hardcore, and classical music.
Okay, some hardcore. Do you dabble? Is that because I mean you were obviously a lot of people know you from Lost Tribe.
Yeah. I still listen to like mostly 80s hardcore, and then post-punk and goth is what I listen to mostly.
Okay.
I'm just obsessed. I'm obsessed with the 80s. It's my biggest influence, so I've always just kind of stuck with that era, you know.
Okay. Well, Lords of the New Church. I mean, you're wearing a shirt right now.
I'm definitely a fan of Stiff Bader's, because of his writing, and he was more adapt to, you know, Jim Morrison and stuff like that. That's also another influence on me too, because he's just a legend, and I really love his work and how he writes. You know, it's a big influence for sure. Are
you a Susie fan?
I do like Susie and the Banshees, but I'm not like really so into that as much. You know what I mean? I like, not that they're overhyped or nothing. I love them. I think, you know, the drummer's a great dude, but I just kind of want more interesting shit, you know? Just a little bit more, I don't know, it's just different, you know?
Where do you fall on the Joy Division New Order?
When I first heard Joy Division and New Order, like I was really into it when I was younger. But now it's just become like not even a band anymore. It's like something, you know, it's not something else, you know? But I just haven't listened to it in a long time, but I just don't understand how everything is like commercial now.
Sure.
And the designs of the shirt and stuff just becomes just a regular t-shirt, and nobody even really knows who it is. So I feel like the legacy of Joy Division is kind of like went crazy.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It does. I think one of the issues I always run into when it comes to people that know very, very little about the band,
Yeah.
One, they immediately go to Ian Curtis, so the actual musicianship of the band gets kind of looked over. I think because of the legend of Ian Curtis, but their catalog is so small.
Yeah, it's very small and they're huge. They only
Yes,
had two
yeah.
records. They had 2 records and then some demo shit.
Yeah.
But two full records. And when I was younger, I had read the book Touching from a Distance. His wife wrote this book about his life and the Joy Division and our life with him called Touching from a Distance. So I read that book like front to back, and it has all of his lyrics in it and everything. It's a really great book. But I think it's important to like kind of know him personally on a level, and then kind of like spread the Joy Division vibe. But most people don't really look into it that much, and it's like, oh, Joy Division, like, okay, listen to the songs, but they don't really try to understand Ian Curtis and when he went through. It's more than just a band, obviously.
Yeah. His life it's a tragedy.
And I'm a singer, so I really like to read lyrics and understand people, you know, not just listen to the band. I like to educate myself about what I like.
Sure.
You know?
Sure. Lyric wise, within the post punk scene, I guess mostly the UK post punk scene.
Yeah.
Lyrically, is there anybody you really gravitate towards?
Like old and new?
Doesn't matter, whatever.
I really love Nick Blinko. Nick Blinko from Rudimentary Peni is good. Jim Morrison. I like a lot of poets, not so much as singers. But there are some good songwriters out there. But a lot of the stuff I listen to that are from the 80s don't have lyrics on their records. So you can't even like look up like the lyrics because it's so obscure, you know?
Sure.
But I try to listen to it. But I also like Danzig. His the way he writes for Sam Hain is incredible.
Sure.
I could never write like that because that's just not how I work. But I read it sometimes. I'm like, God damn, like this dude is like legitimately like making a whole new fucking genre, you know, on his own, not even trying. So I give him respect for that. But I mostly read a lot of poetry, like from writers from the Victorian times to the 1950s or even like 1980s, you know. So I tend to get more influence that way.
Well, you're a Danzig fan. If you like Danzig's writing, do you like Baudelaire? He's a huge Baudelaire fan.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Charles. I like Charles Baudelaire. Fucking Anne Saxton. Jim Morrison. What else? Sylvia Plath. I can't even name it. Even Charles Bukowski's good. All kinds of shit. But he was definitely a fan of that. And I saw this video of him back in the 80s where he was showing off his house. We had all the books and shit like that. You remember that?
Yes. And, the home video. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I saw that when I was a kid, I was like, God damn, like it made him more interesting than him just being a singer, you know? And then I started reading his lyrics and shit. And I was like, damn, like this is some original shit, you know?
Sure. Yep.
Like I can't write about like gore and horror and shit like that. You know what I mean? That's not my thing, and I wouldn't want to because that's not really who I am. But I respect him and I do get influenced by him, but not in the same way of copying his work.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It's funny. I've done quite a bit of content on Sam Hain.
Yeah.
I've interviewed the guys that played in the band and that sort of stuff. I think the interesting thing about Sam Hain is that we're 35 plus years. I don't know how long it's been.
Yeah.
And people still don't know about Sam Hain. They remain that sort of quintessential underground band.
Yeah. That's weird. Notice that. That's fucking weird. He mostly gets his audience, well, you know, young kids or whatever. They go straight to Misfits.
Yep.
Or maybe even the first album of Danzig. But most people don't go anymore after that, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the actual audio quality of the Sam Hain catalog.
I think it's sweet. It makes it darker.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time you heard him? How did you come across him?
Well, I heard Misfits first.
Okay.
And then when I got older, I listened to him. I was like, damn, this is way better. You know, like it just has a little bit more gore to it, a little bit more fucking grit and darkness to it. So I would definitely like Sam Hain better.
Right on. November Coming Fire.
That's my shit, man.
It's amazing. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, that shit.
Did you get an opportunity to go see him? They did the reunion tour in 1999.
I didn't have $1,000 to buy tickets, so I didn't go.
Right on. Okay. Did you
But,
have you got to see Misfits yet?
No, I haven't seen him or Misfits or nothing. I wish I could, but I didn't have the money when they played.
Okay.
I would have loved it, but those tickets for the reunion show were way too much, man.
Yeah, it's steep.
Yeah.
It's one of those you got it once in a lifetime sort of things because we spent decades feeling like this is never going to happen.
And I was talking to friends that went there, and he was like, "Yo, it was fucking crazy. Everybody was singing the songs. Like he was like, I've never seen this shit before." He was like overwhelmed. He's like, "This is the shit, man." I was like, "Damn!" Like everybody singing all the lyrics and all the songs, man. He said people just went crazy.
Right on.
Yeah, shit.
I've interviewed Steve, Erie, Damien. I've talked to a bunch of those guys. I'm so scared to go. As an Uber fan, I'm scared to go see the Misfits because if there's anything that lets me down, I'm scared. Shit. I'm scared. You get worried it's going to stick with you.
Yeah, they say the same thing about meeting your heroes or your idols. Like, you get a different view. I'm like, this guy's a fucking asshole, or like, I've never really understood that until I experienced it here in LA.
That's a bummer. So you're in LA. You're not originally from there, right?
No, I'm not. I'm not from there.
Where'd you come from?
I'm from the East Coast. I'm from Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like under Washington, above North Carolina on the East Coast.
Okay, I think the bio on the Bandcamp or something said you and Kaz had kind of drifted to LA right around the same time, right?
The exact same time. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, he from Florida, and I came from Virginia, and we both came to LA in 2015. And I never lived anywhere else, and I just fucking honestly, literally took like a one-way ticket straight, and I had a job on Craigslist. I had places to look at, so I already had that stuff lined up for me.
Sure.
And then I just went from there.
So how did you encounter Kaz? How did you guys run across each other?
Okay, this is fucking weird, but I was living with a drummer. My first roommate, he was a drummer, and I told him about my band and how my old band like broke up or whatever, and he was like, "Well, you gonna start another band?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't." I went to the bars. Everyone's kind of like bullshitting and fake. Like they just get drunk and just have this rock and roll mentality, but they're not really what they are.
Sure.
And he was like, "Yo, post the ad on Craigslist." I was like, "What? That sounds stupid as fuck." He was like, "No, dude, this is Los Angeles. Like, you should post an ad." And then I made a post saying I want to start a new band, and I gave the details about my influences. And then Kaz hit me up, and he's like, "Yo, dude, like I have a copy of your record from Lost Tribe. I just moved here. Like, I have some songs written. Do you want to get together?" And I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, it was like literally like a week after I posted that shit.
Wow. Okay.
And he said, "I just moved here too." I was like, "What the fuck?" So we got up or whatever, we got together. I had wrote my lyrics or whatever because I was going to prepare to meet him and then record the same day. So I wrote my lyrics or whatever to the music because he sent me the song. It was Climatic Romance was the first song that we released and recorded. So we got together and we worked on it and we fucking made that song. And from then on, we just fucking started a whole new band,
Just curious, how did he get the song to you? What format?
MP3.
MP3? Okay, right on.
Yeah.
So I always wonder.
Oh, like old school, like, here's your tape, dude.
Yeah, right.
That would be sweet. That would be sweet, but it's 2015. No, it's not happening.
I don't. The tape trading thing was, was such a big deal through the 80s, especially for metal.
Mm-hmm.
It's tape trading is amazing. We have record stores here that have big sections of cassette tapes. It's unreal. Yeah.
I love, actually, that's my one of my favorite things to collect is cassettes. Like,
okay.
I love fucking cassettes more than records. I can just go to, and they're cheap, you know, and they just look so cool. And I go to Amoeba and like spend $20 on all these records that
Right
are
on.
way cheaper than buying a record. I love cassettes.
Do you every time I walk into Amoeba, it's almost like I have my breath taken away. You know, do you get that same sense of wonder?
I fucking love it. It's like the best. It's like fucking Disney World or some shit to me, man.
Right on.
It's fucking sick, and I go like, it's just awesome, man. I hope that place never fucking shuts down, dude. It's
Yeah,
sick.
I think they're having a hard time right now from, you know, retail is suffering right now because of, you know, all the businesses are closed down, that sort of thing. So I hope they can come back strong. What's when it comes to writing between you and Kaz, because you guys are the primary songwriters in the Wraith, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the writing dynamic like? How do you guys work through stuff?
Of course, I'm a poet, so I write poetry, and he writes all the songs. He writes all the songs by himself, and then he presents it to us and the drummer and the bass player or whatever, and we go from there and just kind of work on, because he writes a lot of songs at one time, and then he'll just send us track ideas, and we'll go back and forth, and we'll just play with them, and that's how we start songs. And for me, I like to write on my own and keep up, because if he's writing, I'm writing, so I have a lot of material at the same time. And then when we get together, I'll be fucking prepared to hit a song. But
Sure.
Now when we have a new drummer and a bassist, we tend to show them the work, and then we all organize it together now. Because before it was just him and me. You know what I mean?
Do you like it? Do you like that sort of democratic approach a little more?
I do now, but when I first moved here and I did that with him, I was like, what? Like, you're going to a fucking 2-hour studio to record a song? And it was different because I'm used to Lost Tribe, but we're all go to practice together and just write brand new songs in like one spot.
Sure.
But I just got used to it, and it after I got used to it, it became more convenient for me.
Okay.
Just because we couldn't practice. So I do like that now, because when we write the songs, we always demo everything. Like, we'll go to the studio and just demo my vocals, and then go back and listen to them. And we'll be like, no, that's how we like write songs. We go back and forth and make sure it's perfect before we release it.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
Could you, you know, there's a lot to be said when it comes to bands that can just do things on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you find yourself, do you guys hammer on stuff for quite a while before you say, sealed, done, delivered, it's complete? Does the body, you know, of building the song, is it a long period?
Yeah, fuck yeah. It took us 2 years to write Gloom Ballet.
Okay, right on.
But yeah, me and Kaz are like perfectionist musicians. We always just record, just demo a lot, man. Just demo, and then we come back together and rearrange it and just listen to it like MP3 for like a week or two. Go back to practice and redo it again. We really fucking work hard on the structures and the dynamic of the songs.
Well, the album shows it. I mean,
Yeah.
It's absolutely obvious in the album. The compositional integrity of the entire album is jaw-dropping.
Yeah.
The thing's amazing. I know I talked about it. I did a Vinyl Thursday on it a while back, and one of the things that I was so struck with was the album is dense, it's lush as far as the mix goes, but it's not crammed. You know, it still has breathing room.
Exactly.
Do you guys pour over the mixing process? Is the same way?
We do it ourselves. Like I said, we just demo and we just listen to it and come back and change it, listen to it, come back and change it until we know, okay, this is going to be a song. And then we put that to the side and we do another song. Like, that's how we have things in order and structure, and sometimes show our friends a little bit to get a second opinion on it.
Sure.
But and then also, I went to school. I mean, it's not school. I went to this guy for singing lessons. So if you can tell from the 7-inch to now, I learned how to sing. So and I needed to learn how to sing because, you know, I don't want to lose my voice on tour.
Sure.
And I try not to, drink, or I don't even drink at all anymore, but I try to protect my voice so that I can sing every day. So I went to singing lessons, and it helped. It helped big time, dude. So
Right.
when I would go to the studio and we write songs, I would do my part and sing, re-sing, and just kind of come up with other ideas. And Cass would do the same thing. And now everybody else contributes to the songs after he gives us the ideas. That
Okay.
makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It you the writing process is different for all bands, obviously.
Yeah.
But the one of the things that I remarked about the album was that you guys don't sound like a young band, or not necessarily a young band, an inexperienced band.
Yeah.
You guys sound very very well oiled, I guess would be a good way to say it.
Well, Kaz comes from a good punk background, and he's been playing music since goddamn 12 years old. So he understands music theory.
Yeah.
And then I understand, how to sing, and when he puts together these songs, I kind of practice over singing and be like, how does that sound? How does that sound? And then of course we demo. But we'll sit on one song for like a month, dude.
Mm.
Well, and then also to answer your question, I do like the recording process now because it helps me get better at writing songs.
Sure.
And before, when I was in Lost Tribe, it wasn't like that. Everybody just fucking was at band practice with these loud ass PAs and shit. And then when we were ready to record it, we just went right straight to the studio. But if we had our own studio and had listened to it before we recorded it, it would have been a way better song, a way better album, So I think that has a big part of it, which is a good thing. So
yeah, it's like, well, I think the studio becomes another instrument in that sense.
Mm.
It adds to the song. You mentioned Gloom Ballet, so I'm going to quote you here, okay? Ballad of Eon. That's my favorite, lyrically, my favorite song on Gloom Ballet. From the gardens to the fields where the children no longer play, 1,000 years, dark centuries, a dwindling place of fear. I do adore the Gloom Ballet. Cold as the heart, thunder far away.
yeah.
That lyric, Davey, hit me like a fucking Mack truck. The first time I listened to the song. So I wanna pick your brain, the idea of the Gloom Ballet.
Yeah.
What is it?
A lot of it is fantasy. A lot of it's fantasy of your mind and where your mind can go when it comes to just thinking or mental illnesses or whatever. And I like to write songs like that because it's not too complex, but not too simple. And I think that everything I write is from the heart and from me. So I write that from my own mental experience and from what I'm influenced by, which is the Victorian poetry.
Sure.
And I think that it's weird because I get feedback from that. I'm like, what? Like, you guys like that shit? Because I thought that a lot of people don't think that it makes sense to them, but it does to me. So I don't know how to explain it. A lot of the songs are pretty much, all of them are about mental illness, 100%.
Okay.
About your world of depression or hate or whatever, but it's just written in a way where you can like lyrically feel it with the music. And I think it's the biggest part.
You mentioned depression. Obviously, mental illness, a lot of creative types, it's something they struggle with.
Yeah.
Is it something you wrestle with in your own life?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I mean, for sure. That's honestly where I get my inspiration to write poetry.
Okay. Right on.
I'm not going to say too much more about that.
Sure.
But so people know, that's how I get my inspiration to poetry, is I write about what I know and how I feel, but in a more, a dynamic and complex way with the poetry.
Okay.
And that's just what I've always used to write my songs.
Okay. So the Dead Flowers zine, your poetry zine that you're doing, you're self-releasing it. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I got this shit hanging up right here. Yeah, I have. I've been doing it for I guess 3 years now. This is a couple.
How'd it come about?
I've been writing poetry since I was 12, and I was like, damn, I should like put my stuff online or something. And then I was like, well, fuck that. Let's like make my own book. So I wrote all these songs, and I was like, I don't even know how to write a real book or whatever the fuck.
Right on, right on.
So I'm like, well, let me just put these together for zines, because I did a zine a long time ago when I first got into goth and post-punk. It was stupid. It was called like Transit Fear or something like that. It didn't really make any sense. But I had like a couple big zines that I did the same thing, but it was kind of like sloppy and it didn't really make much sense. But who cares? I'm practicing and getting good at something.
Sure.
So whatever. So I was like, later on, I came here and I was writing more for the record and just writing and writing because it's like therapy for me. So I was like, man, fuck this shit, man. I'm just gonna put out something for free for people to have, and just kind of put out my ideas out there just to show people and be brave about how I feel, because a lot of people don't have the courage to do this and like put their thoughts and everything down that people get to know you in your mind. But what's the difference with being a singer or a musician? You're doing the same fucking thing. Like you're writing something that's from you and people are going to read it or not read it. So I just was proud of myself to start these things. And I had a friend that knew how to do like layout stuff on the computer. And he helped me put this shit together. I just gave him the poems and shit. And I gave him pictures that I wanted to be in there.
Right on.
And we made our zine, and after that, I just kept doing it.
Are you going to keep going?
Fuck yeah, man! Are you kidding me? I have 4 of them, and I have a 5th one I'm working on right now.
Yeah, I got all 4 now. And I read them. I was doing I listen to music heavily, so sometimes I need to let my ears rest.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing when I've been letting my ears rest. I go out front of the house and read the Dead Flower zine. So I mean, it's cool, man. It's impressive. Does the sort of magnifying glass, the lens of the audience looking at you and kind of seeing what you're writing, does it ever get to you? Is there ever some weirdness?
No, I don't, because I had so many people tell me my music has helped them. So I feel like a role model in a way, or someone that expresses himself that most other people would be shy or not brave enough to do.
Sure.
So if you can adapt, or not adapt, but like you can connect with your music and it helps you, that's pretty much like a good way to consider myself a musician, I guess.
Sure.
And I love it when people tell me. I don't get too big-headed about it, because I'm just like them. We're all the same. We just have different problems and shit, and I like to read about it and help people if they help, if it helps them, like I'm a very deep emotional person, and I care for other people just like I care for myself.
Sure.
And I'm very strong on mental illness and just not feeling like everyone else in the world, or being alone, or feeling like a misfit. And because everyone has a background about them, everyone has, ways that they grew up, and some of it was bad, some of it was good, but I feel like everybody can relate to that shit.
Yeah.
And I like it. I love it when people can, because it makes me happy, And that's pretty much the difference that I want to make in the world, is to write shit that helps people. And I don't want, I just like to fucking talk about myself, and I love it. And when people look at me, I'm like, yeah, dude, like, yeah, man, like I'm just like you on the stage, like just singing my heart out, man. And that's honestly like why I write poetry, and I'm a musician. And I don't give a fuck, I don't care what you think. This is me. I'm not gonna fake it, I don't want to think that I'm this big, huge, like rock star guy. Like when I go to a show, I hang out with people, and I'm just the same, I just kick it like it's nothing. You know what I mean? Sure. I don't want to have that fucking stupid personality. I want to be fucking real, and this shit makes me real, and what I'm doing is fucking real,
It sounds like, are you familiar with the Bad Brains?
Of course, dude.
Okay, PMA.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that, are you Am I in the ballpark? You know?
Yeah, but I don't like use that as my influence. I know what it is.
Sure.
Like simple word of, positive mental attitude. Yeah, of course. But
Okay.
I don't like think that, oh my God, the bad brains, they fucking But yeah, I'm all about that shit, man. I try to be positive as much as I can, even in dark times, and even when even with shit that you don't think is ever gonna go away. You gotta be strong about that shit, man. You gotta be mentally strong to fucking deal with the world, dude. Like the world is a fucked up, evil place.
Were you young? Were you young when you learned that lesson?
Hell yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like since I was a kid, I'm the only child. Like I'm very different. I couldn't hang out when I was a kid. I didn't have friends. I couldn't leave the fucking house. My mom made me stay in the fucking house while she fucking went to work or whatever. And I just kind of just found out shit about myself. Started drawing, writing, reading, was always alone.
Mm.
So that's, I guess, a big thing about me is I'm very introverted or whatever to get things done. And I don't really I don't really like hanging out and partying and doing drugs and shit because it fucks up my mind. And then I'm all downward spiral because I've been all up in that shit and I'm not like that no more. I want to be peaceful in my mind. I want to be able to think clearly and get shit done and be productive, because you can't be a successful musician if you're fucked up in the head or drinking and doing pills, dude. You're gonna fucking die, and I don't give a fuck. You do what you want to do, but I'm happy, I don't give a fuck what you think. I'm happy and I know I'm a strong person. So that's pretty much what I'm about 100%. I like to just be creative and try things and not give a fuck, because a lot of people are scared to do shit and they look into someone else and treat them like shit or talk shit because they can't do it. Fuck you, man. I'm living my fucking life and I'm doing it the best way I can, and that's what it's all about, man. Everyone has their shit, their issues, whatever. Fucking life is fucked up. And if I can make a song and from my heart and you can fucking dig it, then go for it. I want to be that person.
Right on.
100%.
Was there can you think of you talked about the post-punk, goth, punk rock, hardcore, that sort of stuff, but can you pinpoint a moment when something changed inside of you when it comes to music or wanting to make music?
When I was a kid, when I started buying punk CDs and shit, I would go to FYE when I was younger, and I was in a group home, so I would go to the mall or whatever by myself and just pick up all these CDs, in the punk section, Punk and Disorderly and Susie, the Vibrators, all that shit. And I got influenced by that. I got influenced by making music from punk, 100%.
Do you remember how? Do you remember how you discovered punk rock?
Oh yeah, my mother's close friend, who's actually a still close friend to me, like a father. This guy named Shade that I used to hang out with when my mom was at work when I was younger. He's this African American dude, this big black dude, and his fucking apartment literally was like a fucking museum. He had Rolling Stone magazines, CDs, tapes, records, it had dust all over everything. So I would go through that shit and try to find music because I'm by myself. I'm like, damn, dude, what the fuck is this? And I'll play his CDs and play his tapes and shit. And then he noticed it, and I told him. He's like, "Oh, you like that shit?" And my mom wouldn't let me listen to that shit. She was like, "No, don't give him that bullshit." But he helped me. He was like, "Yo, dude, I'm gonna go to Blockbuster and rent you the Ramones VHS music videos back in the day."
Sure.
And he would come home from Blockbuster and give me all these punk metal shit because I liked it, and I would just watch that shit when my mom was at work and he was at the house. So that dude, I give him props because he made me who the fuck I am, dude. That motherfucker is the shit. He's really intelligent. He's how do you say, eclectic with the music, and I learned everything from him. I learned everything to be open-minded about music and not just focus on one thing, because everything is influenced by something, And he opened my eyes, man. I had the Clash record, London Calling. I thought the cover looked so sweet. And a Walk Among Us from the Misfits. And I was like, damn, this shit is sick, man. I just got pumped. So that house pretty much was him and his house is what made me fucking get into music and punk rock, man.
Right on, sweet. Now,
Yeah.
David, I don't know how old you are, but did you get an opportunity to see the Ramones before they called it a day?
No, but I do remember when Joey Ramone's last CD came out. It was, what was it? Don't Worry About Me. I think that was it. It was the last one he did, and I was like young and I wasn't paying attention to the music back then, and I never got a chance to see him though. But I did try to keep up with his music and shit like that. Same thing with Sex Pistols. I think I was like 15 or something years old, and I was skating at this park, and obviously I looked like a punk dude. And this dude was like, "Hey man, you know the Sex Pistols playing in DC right now?" And I was like, "What?" Like at like 15, like, "What the fuck, the Sex Pistols?" Like, so I didn't get to see like really big bands, except for like GBH was my first punk show. My first goth band was Sisters of Mercy. I saw Sisters of Mercy when I was 20 years old for $20, but there was so much fog at the show they had to shut it down.
Right. Okay.
So I didn't get to fucking see the whole show, but I was like, that 20 minutes was the shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you just couldn't see nothing. But I saw his bald ass head, and I was like, this is the shit, But those are like my first punk shows, GBH, fucking, and there was a local punk shop called Soundhole back in Richmond, where I'm from, that had punk CDs, and the punk scene was huge back then, dude. Like with the street punk shit and like the crust punk, that shit was huge, man. So it was a lot of diversity there, but mostly it was just punk rock and metal. It wasn't any goth.
Do you dabble in metal at all?
I mean, I listened to the first Metallica shit. I like the first Kill 'Em All records and Master of Puppets.
Okay.
But not really, dude. I'm not really a fan of metal. I listen to classic rock shit like that. But I'm not really into like heavy metal. But like I said, I checked out Midnight a while ago, and talking about him, they're fucking sick. But thrash metal, some thrash bands, but not too much, honestly.
Right on.
Los Angeles is the best place I've ever been to in my life, and I've toured all over America for years, and in Canada and in Mexico. But being here, it's like you can have everything in one city, and they'll never get bored, and you'll never not want to do something. It's awesome. And the fucking scene and the kids look cool. They have every fucking record you can imagine. It's like paradise, man. Like, I love fucking Los Angeles, man. It's the shit. You could fucking, like, there's so many shows going on that you wouldn't even know. Like, I saw Jeans Love Jezebel for free and just popped in fucking Part-Time Punks, and I saw Jeans Love Jezebel for free, and the next day they got fucking Reagan Youth and all these bands playing. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's so much shit, and it's awesome. It's a different world, man. I love it here.
There's a rich history when it comes to Los Angeles, especially within the punk communities. Black Flag, 45 Grave, The Germs, all of those bands. Is it because you guys kind of wear the Los Angeles badge with pride?
Yeah.
Do you guys, is the history of LA at the forefront of your mind?
Yes, I will tell you something. When I was younger and I was doing the Lost Tribe thing, I started to obviously educate myself more about goth and everything. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, think about how the West Coast is and the East Coast. And if you can bring them together, like, you can make a sick band. And that's pretty much what I did with the Wraith, and I try to do with Lost Tribe. And I study and I try to be a fanatic of music and punk bands and stuff like that. And I educate myself when I read about it. So that's how you get, you get really inspired by that.
Right on.
And I think because the West Coast in the 80s and shit was all about goth and death rock and all these kind of shit. But on the East Coast, it really wasn't that big, I don't think. I mean, there were some bands, but it was mostly U.S. hardcore or thrash metal bands and stuff like that. So I was thinking, like, putting those together, and that's what I tried to do at Lost Tribe. And I tried to do the same thing with the Wraith. So, but the West Coast, Los Angeles definitely has a bigger influence on me than the East Coast, because there was way more shit, way more diversity in the 80s and stuff like that compared to music and punk,
Were you ever attracted to the Detroit stuff? You know, the proto punk like MC5, Iggy and the Stooges.
Yeah, I do like 70s, 60s. Yeah, I like Iggy. I like Jim. I don't really care too much about MC5, but I do like, Richard Hell, Johnny Thunders, early Steve Bader shit before Dead Boys. Yeah, I like a lot of that stuff. I like T-Rex.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Yeah, I love T-Rex. So yeah, I like this 60s and 70s like old school proto punk shit. I like Death, the punk band Death, and then the other band called Pure Hell. They started out in the 70s playing shows with the Sex Pistols and stuff like that. So I do like a lot of that early shit too.
Okay, right on. So how did the we talked about Danzig, we touched base on Sam Hain and the Misfits, obviously. I Turned Into a Martian single that you guys did.
Yeah, this dude, well, I don't know if you ever heard of Quote Nation. Like it's like a big metal punk like web page thing, and they support bands just like I don't know, like Razor Cake or something like that. So they were a fan of me from Lost Tribe, and they asked us if we wanted to cover one of the songs for their Misfit cover album. So we picked a song and then we recorded it, and everybody else had their own songs too. From Walk Among Us, that's where it came from, the Walk Among Us album. So we picked a song and then we recorded it, and then he just put everybody's songs together for the album, and we kept that just on our Bandcamp, but most people don't really know about that too much.
Right on. Well, I mean, it's a good cover. It rips, man.
Yeah. We're writing a new album right now, yeah. Like I'm writing my poems, and Kaiser's doing his songs, and so we're still writing a record right now.
How close to a release are we?
Shit, I mean, we haven't even got together to demo any songs yet, dude.
Okay, right on.
We're just like, just writing individually.
Okay,
we haven't gotten together for practice because everything's shut down and shit.
Right on.
So so pretty much what I do is I try to run an hour. I run for an hour every day, and then I come home, and then I just try to write because I get inspired in my mind when I'm running. So that really does help me a lot, and I just kind of zone out, man. I kind of just do my own thing, watch whatever videos I'm influenced by, and then I'll just start writing words and just keep it a routine of it. So when we're ready to demo, I'll have some good shit. I don't want to be behind. Me and Cass pretty much work together, Sure. So
what do you feel like if you could guess, what that next album is going to be like?
It's going to be better than Gloom Ballet. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, you feel extra?
That's hard to do. Some people's first record, that's all they can do. But if we can make the second one better, then we're on a fucking good path.
Sophomore slump, right?
Yeah.
What do you think if you could project that little ways down the road? What would you want to do? What would you want to bring to the second album?
Better lyrics for sure, because I'm always trying to evolve. Better lyrics. More original creativity. Power, of course, dynamic, hard hitting record, like a punchy record, but with a little bit of like Of the Earth songs and I Expire, but most of that shit is Killing Joke shit, just fucking, I want to be like Killing Joke because all their albums were different, and I think that's fascinating because they did it well, They like made these records and it still sounds good as if it was the first record.
Sure.
So that's kind of my big inspiration when it comes to writing more records with the Wraith. But we'll do our own style or whatever. But I think it's going to be pretty good because Kaz is a great musician, man. I don't know how the fuck he does it, but he's a sick guitar player, and I just got lucky, dude. That's all I have to say. But I think it's going to be really fucking good.
He plays in a way that it's very full. It's very lush as far as the way that he structures music. And it almost sounds like multiple guitars in a way. You know, it's that full bodied. It's very robust the way that he plays. It's just I can't. I was talking to a buddy the other day. I was like, yeah, I'm going to interview Davey from the Wraith, and I told him I would love to sit in a room while they're working on something and just see how it works.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's fascinating to me, man. You know, to be able to sit in a room with Jagger and Richards, or when Glenn is tweaking something on his Les Paul at home, or being in the same room as like Slayer when they were working on South of Heaven, you know, stuff like that. There's certain musicians where you want a closer look into what they're doing, because what comes out is so fully realized. And you guys are one of those bands that's why I said that you guys don't sound like an inexperienced band. It's like you guys came out of the oven with your third album. You know what I mean? Your third album ready to go. We worked out all the weird little stupid bits on the first two albums and we killed it on the third one. That's how I see you guys in that regard.
Dude, fucking thank you, dude. Hell yeah.
It's a fanboy thing, I think, though. But yeah. Are you a couple more? Just two more things. You mentioned cassettes earlier. Vinyl. Are you a vinyl guy?
I used to be, but I don't have my records here.
Where they at?
They're in VA in storage, but yeah, I got some good shit. I got some good shit, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Hell yeah. I just hope they're not damaged. But yeah, after that I just started getting more into tapes. That's why I collect tapes so much, because I don't have a record player anymore, and you know, I'm poor. I can't afford it.
Right on.
Have money for fucking $20 records that just came out, you know, or old school OG $50 records on Discogs and shit. But yeah, but I like cassettes now. That's my shit. It's just as golden as if it was a vinyl record.
Right on. Are you the kind of guy? Do you make like mixtapes?
I used to, but my record player is broken now. I mean, I only ever have one side to play, so I can't dub tapes or nothing like that. But fuck that. I'll do CD, like you know, like a mix on a CD, but not tapes. I wish I had that though. Fuck, that's a good one. But yeah, I mean, shit, I can make you a mix if you want it, dude. Do a YouTube shit and make your own fucking playlist and just send it to you.
Oh, right on. Yeah. I mean, go for it.
A little closer, a little bit closer how we do the songs and shit. You know, what we're influenced by, because a lot of the shit that we do, a lot of people don't like the influences. They don't know what it is because it's obscure. Mm-hmm. You know, we're influenced by a lot of course, like the main Killing Joke, Sam Haines, shit like that. But there's a lot of stuff like in the back that a lot of people don't know about.
Are you a TSOL fan?
I like Joe Wood better.
Oh.
I'm sorry to say it, but I love Joe Wood. We played with him like 3-4 months ago, but I love Joe Wood better.
Okay,
it's darker. His records are better. Jack Grisham's okay, but just something about Joe is just way darker than Jack Grisham.
Revenge is a good album, man.
Revenge is good. Yeah, it's a fucking sick album, man.
Did you did you catch them on the Return of the Living Dead soundtrack? Nothing for You.
Oh yeah, that's on one of their records. I can't remember. Was it the first?
It's on Revenge. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And Flowers from the Door. Like, what the fuck, man? How can you write a song like that, dude? Like Flowers on the Door. Like, god damn, I don't understand how they did it. It's crazy. Like, it should be like a 80s hit or something like that. You know, someone should have remixed. That's fucking amazing. But when we played with him, he was like just excited as I was to see him. He was like, man, I love your shit. Like, I got your poems and stuff like that. And we played with him. I thought it was fucking amazing. He was like, I'm a dark motherfucker. I know you're dark too. And he was just such a cool dude, man. Like, I love that dude, man. He's awesome.
Nice.
For sure.
Right on. Right. His voice, man.
Yeah.
Dude, his voice. I'm telling you.
For you. Like, yeah, that shit's crazy, man. It's amazing.
So, anything on the horizon right now other than just writing? And obviously you guys aren't playing shows. Is there anything worth mentioning?
No, I mean, I'm trying to put out this next zine on my own. And we're just swapping songs and shit for new songs for the next record. Just trying to stay safe and not get the coronavirus and shit.
Sure.
It's serious out there, you know. So I hope that soon we can play a show. We had a tour actually. We had a small tour that was booked. It was supposed to be for May. It's supposed to be for May. It was going to be like 7 or 8 dates, something like that. And that got canceled. And I was really looking forward to that shit because we haven't really done a big tour yet. We've only done like San Francisco and Oakland, and that's it. We haven't done like more than 2 days. So I was looking forward to that. I hope when everything fucking washes over, we can get that immediately and hit the road because, you know, we're going to be fresh out of this quarantine shit. So just more poetry, writing. And, oh yeah, we're going to try to release some music videos to keep the momentum going. We're going to try to release some music videos and try to keep up with the fan base and repost stuff on Instagram and Facebook to kind of keep it going.
Something from Gloom Ballet?
Yeah, we're going to release a music video for Toil, which is on Gloom Ballet.
Okay, cool.
We're working on that right now, and then, you know, we'll release it and go from there. So that's pretty much all for right now. It's just a music video.
If it matters, I got my fingers crossed for a Devil's Serenade video.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do that eventually. Cool. We're gonna do 5 music videos from the record.
Okay.
We have 2. Toil, definitely gonna do Devils. A lot of people love that song, and then another one I can't tell you. So
keep it quiet, dude. Devil's Serenade is a good fucking song. Those big bass drum or floor tom hits in the choruses. Yeah. They get me every time.
You know who we recorded with, right?
No.
We recorded. Our producer was Matt Mitchell.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Pussifer. He worked with 9 Inch Nails, stuff like that. Yep. He fucking. How did it happen? Somebody sent him a record or something of our demo, and he was like, "Holy fucking shit, this is amazing! Like, I really want to record you." So it was fun working with him because he's a fucking legend, and he told us that our songs remind him of the past when he used to grow up. And we were in there for, was it like a month or something? Oh no, 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. We were recording that album, and it was fucking awesome. He did a great job. He helped us out a lot with singing and everything. So he did a great job doing that. And what the fuck was I gonna say? I can't remember. What'd you say about recording or something like that?
No, I think I was just fawning over Devil's Serenade.
Yeah. I'm sober. I don't do drugs. I don't drink or nothing anymore. I feel like I have more of a clear head and I can do things better now, and I'm happy. And that's the most important part, because a lot of people, you know, they get into drugs and the bands and stuff, and they die, or they just wash away and they look like shit or feel like shit, and you can't, you know, be a good, you know, musician anymore because it breaks you down. So, well,
the positivity shows.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not doing that shit. Fuck you.
Right on. All right. Well, Davey, dude, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Hell yeah, brother. Fucking thank you for having me, man. This was the shit. This is fucking awesome. You're a good dude. Pow, 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 pow.